the worst Premier League season ever. That is what some rival fans are saying right now. That is what some rival fans are saying now. In this video, I want to break down a certain video that I've seen on TikTok by Matt, an Arsenal fan, goes by Papa Pinkus on TikTok. And I want to break down his video for why he thinks this is the worst Premier League season ever. And if I'm honest, there's some parts of it I do agree with. But I think a lot of it is becoming from a place of they're pretty much out of the title race now. And it's just Liverpool with a straight run at the title. And I think it's funny the time of this video. And like I said, I do agree with some parts of the video, but I have written down the parts of that he has spoken about. Why he thinks it is the worst Premier League ever. Why does Matt think it's the worst Premier League ever? Why does some rival fans think it's the worst Premier League ever? So let's break down Matt's video. If you want to follow Matt on TikTok, his name is Papinkus on TikTok. Make sure you follow him. He does football content as well as just Arsenal content, but he does a lot of football content. But yeah, this is certainly a video that caught my eye, and it's certainly something that I will certainly respond to. So his first points were made was for the first 2 points he made was the three teams that have come up pretty much have gone back down. The relegation is confirmed. It's confirmed. That is what he said there. And he also said the league winners, meaning us, is all but confirmed. So I get those are the parts where those are 2 points I sort of agree with in terms of you want drama, don't you, in the Premier League? You want it to go to the last day of the season. You want relegation battle. You want top four battle. You want title race to go to the last game of the season. And there's only one team that's spoiled that, by the way, in Arsenal, not wanting to go to the title race for the last game of the season. That is up to them. That is on them for not pushing us the way they should have pushed us. For me, but yeah, three teams relegated. I was hoping. The way this has gone, right, it does seem like when I always do my Premier League predictions every single week, it always seems like Ipswich, Leicester, and Southampton. I don't give them much hope because they're not showing me enough to give them hope. And usually in the past, there has been teams that are pretty much looked down. I mean, you go back to West Brom when they were pretty much down and they come out of the ruins and somehow survived. And it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But you do hope for that to go to the end of the season. Southampton's been one of the worst teams come up. Again, yeah, Ipswich has shown glimpses. Leicester's sort of shown glimpses now and then, but Ipswich probably out of the three has shown a little bit more. But it is, I agree in terms of that specific point he made there, being the three that have come up pretty much down. Well, it's 5 points separating Ipswich and Wolves, and what that problem is only 5 points. Ipswich, Leicester on 17 points, Wolves on 22, so it's 5 points separates them, the three of them. But what I've seen from Wolves recently is just it isn't what I'm going to see from Leicester and Ipswich. I'm hoping that there is some sort of, just for drama alone, I'm hoping there's some sort of switch and some sort of thing that gets into Leicester or Ipswich or something to push it to the final day and have a proper relegation scrap on. Technically, it's not over, but it feels like it's over because of the way Ipswich and Leicester are playing. I mean, Southampton are pretty much down, one of the worst teams to ever come back up, and yeah, and that gap between Championship and Premier League is always going to spoke about it's getting bigger. I don't think it is getting bigger. It depends who comes up. It depends who comes up and really takes the chances. Because I think if Leeds come up, and it looks pretty much like Leeds are coming up, I think if they get a good backing and they get the right stature in play, I think they can certainly stay up. Then if Leeds stay up, the kind of the bigger the club that they are, they can build on that and be where Bournemouth are, be where Nottingham Forest are, because Nottingham Forest. And people forget about this, saying like the gap's getting bigger. Nottingham Forest was literally 90 minutes away from being knocked out of the playoff final against Huddersfield. Huddersfield actually was a better team that day, and the referee absolutely, if I'm honest, robbed Huddersfield And now Nottingham Forest on the verge of Champions League football. That's how quick this country can swap over in football. That's how I don't think there is a massive gap between Championship and Premier League if the Champions League don't want to make it a gap. Because Forest have gone from playoff final to Champions League in a few years. Potentially Champions League. Certainly European football, that's what they're going to get this season. But yeah, it is a shame that it could look like all three teams are relegated, but there's still time for it to switch. Still time. At his second point, league winners all but confirmed. I think he needs to look at his own team for that. Arsenal. We've dropped a few points in the last month or so, and Arsenal simply haven't taken advantage of that. Injuries this, injuries that. Yes, I get injuries, and I get, if your best players are some of your best players, but it's up to your manager then to tactically tweak things. I've seen even Fergie, going back to Fergie days at Man United, he had a centre back pairing of something like Carrick and someone else. I can't think what it was. There was the time when he had all four defenders injured. He had to play ridiculous, and he still went on and win titles. I think a lot needs to look at Arteta, but I do get the injuries to a certain extent. But your own club is to fault for that. They didn't prepare for the season. A bit what Liverpool did a couple of years ago. We didn't prepare for the season. We didn't replace certain players. We ran them into the ground, and that's exactly what Arsenal have done. And the chance you get to take advantage of City dropping off, you don't, because you've ran into the ground yourself, you've injured your players, and you're not prepared with a striker. So I think it's a look in the mirror for Arsenal fans this season. But I sort of get that point in terms of there isn't a title race right to the end. But I don't give a about that. As a Liverpool fan, we win the league. So I'm not too bothered about that. But I get it from his point of view, where it's like it adds no drama to a neutral point of view, if that makes sense. So a neutral will be looking at this and thinking, there's no title race now. Bit boring. But, however, there's a lot of things I don't agree with on this video that I made, Matt. And there's a lot of things I don't agree with. It did actually say Forest and Bournemouth are great stories. Absolutely. And one thing, which I think, Forest and Bournemouth are amazing stories. I mean, Bournemouth coming up from the National League, they went season after season coming up all the way to the Premier League. Now to be pushing Europe and pushing the big boys in the Premier League is a massive, massive difference. I think Areola has done an amazing job this season at Bournemouth. They are a fantastic story. I think Nottingham Forest, again, just been speaking about them, they play a final two now, potential Champions League football. And that alone is a big story in itself, I think. There's a few stories I want to make out. He said there was only them two as good stories this season, but I think that Nottingham Forest one alone, the fact that this is a European heritage club that have won 2 European Cups, that are up there now challenging for European spots, instead of the likes of Tottenham all the time, who don't know what a European Cup is. And let's say your own team, who's never seen a European Cup, it's nice to see someone with European heritage, as well as like Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, even Man City have got the European heritage now. Even West Ham have got a European heritage. But yeah, it's nice to see Nottingham Forest who've got the heritage that they have got, and the Brian Clough days, and just such a big club like that to be up there now in the Champions League places again. That is a great story in itself. An absolute great story. I've seen Nottingham Forest fans speaking about the olden days, and then it's the new generation of Forest fans are now seeing something that they've never seen before. So that story in itself is fantastic. I think if Bournemouth get European football, that's a great story alone. I think on the other side of the coin, I think Man United and Tottenham specifically struggling the way they are. I think there's a fantastic story in terms of just watching it unfold. I think it might not be a great story for Man United and Tottenham fans, but as I'll say, forget I'm a Liverpool fan for a second. As a neutral, I think it'd be a fantastic watch to see what's going on here and see the drama unfold and see them crumble like nothing has ever happened before. Swapping manager halfway through the season, their new manager then calling hot the players, saying they're not good enough. It's a fantastic watch, and it's the drama this Premier League needs. And you know, we're talking about the title race of drama, top 4 race of drama, relegation battle for drama. It's things like this where Man United are crumbling, Tottenham are crumbling, and the managers are losing the plots. That is drama. That is like soap drama that we all love to watch. I think the great stories in their own right, in a negative light, but the great story for me. I think it's given a little bit of spice to the Premier League, and as a Liverpool fan, it just adds a nice chocolate sauce on your ice cream of being top of the league. That's what it does. But yeah, I think those two are great stories. He also put down Chris Wood. He also said like Chris Wood being the best striker is a bad thing for the Premier League. And again, I don't think it is. This guy is 33 years old, right? 33 years old. He's been on loan a lot to a lot of clubs. He's been around a lot of clubs. You know, I always think Chris would have been like when he was the best at his best, probably at Leeds. But now you think his career's done. He had a bit of a stint at Newcastle, got 4 goals at Newcastle. But then you think his career's done. Yeah, he's getting on a bit. He's done. Nottingham Forest loan him out, buy him after the loan. And look at him. Look at him. I mean, what a story that is. And it's all right saying, no, Chris Wood being the best player, best striker, that's an embarrassment for the Premier League. I think it's a great story. I think it's an absolute great story. Chris Wood, at 33 years old, showing that, you know, you're never down and out. You're never down and out. You know, he's, even at clubs that he has been to, he's always been seen as like, oh, he's not really that striker that we need, is he? I think Leeds, like I said, Leeds is probably the place where he's shone the most, I think. Leeds fans loved him at one point. But I think that's a great story for Chris Wood, especially when he's from New Zealand, a country that's not known for making class footballers, to be one of the best strikers in the league. Or what Matt says here, the best striker in the league currently. That's a great story. That's a great story. And it's a fantastic season for Chris Wood and fully deserved, and certainly racks up my FPL points as well. So I do like Chris Wood. I have a lot of time for Chris Wood. I think he's done very, very well. And again, the story of David Moyes going back to Everton, I'm saying it from an unbiased point of view here. I think it's a good story that he's gone back and he's going to a new era at Everton. I'm hoping it doesn't work out, but right now it's working out for David Moyes, and that's a good story. But I won't talk about too much about that because I don't really want to go on about Everton much longer on this channel. But yeah, I think it's a good story. For David Moyes, especially going into a new stadium next season. The downfall of Man City, I think, is quite an interesting story. The fact that Pep Guardiola is trying to create a new team now, a new look team. I think that's an interesting story. Whether that works next season or not, we don't know yet. But it's an interesting story to watch out for. I think Chelsea have shown glimpses of what they can do. I think they're interesting to watch at the moment. But yeah, I think there's a few more than interesting stories, just Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth. Put it that way. And I don't think putting down Chris Wood as the main striker is a bad thing right now. One big thing I did disagree with massively was this. Only Mo Salah is a world-class player that's not injured. So let me break this down in 2 parts here, Matt. Let's break this down in 2 parts. Only Mo Salah is the world-class striker in the league that is not injured. So when he said not injured there, he, as an Arsenal fan, he's clearly referring to Saka. So he's basically saying there, only Saka and Salah are the world-class players in the league. So you're forgetting certain Virgil van Dijk, Alisson Becker, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Kevin De Bruyne I'd still classify Kevin De Bruyne as world-class. Rodri. He might be including... All right, then, I'll give him that. He might be including Rodri because he's injured. All right, he might be including Rodri. I'll give him that. Haaland. I'd still class Haaland as world-class, if I'm honest. I would. He's been off it, but I still class him as world-class. But yeah, that is a bad statement. Mo Salah's not the only world-class player in this league. about Saka and Rodri. Saka's not even above Van Dijk and Alisson Becker. So, and I rate Saka really highly, by the way. I rate Saka really highly. I think Saka is like, I think he's just entered world class. What he was doing in the Champions League, but because he got injured, it sort of, I think it sort of halted is my thoughts on him at the moment. If he comes back the same, then I think I can classify him as world class. But Mo Salah, Van Dijk, Trent, Alisson Becker, those four alone, I've proved this season again how important they are and how great they are. They are world class players, and they have been world class players, and they have been done it all. They've won it all. They've been there, done that, and they're still doing it now. So don't ever discount Van Dijk. Certainly, I can't believe he said most likely not the injured players. So yeah, Rodri, I agree with, world class, won the Ballon d'Or. Mo Salah will win the Ballon d'Or this time. But yeah, I didn't agree with that at all. That specific comment. You can't tell one moment that will be remembered. So this one moment that will be remembered. It depends what club you support, isn't it? Really, I think you're trying to, as an Arsenal fan, you're probably trying to push out a lot right now. You're trying to forget a lot, but there's a lot that's happened. And he talked about VAR controversy every single week. That's another thing I agree with. I didn't agree with much on this video, but that's one thing I agree with, the VAR controversy. But I remember a lot of things that are VAR controversy this season, and it's not a good thing that's remembered, but a lot of it is remembered. I remember a lot of good moments as a Liverpool fan, obviously. I think there will be many moments that a lot of people remember. I mean, Ipswich coming up, beating Tottenham would have been a big memory for them. It depends which club you support here in terms of what one moment to remember, because it's sort of like selective choosing your memory there. Yeah, I think you're selecting choosing memory. I think that's just more of a, maybe Arsenal just don't play good enough football, or not enough great moments to remember it, or try to remember it, if that makes sense. Selective memory as per. But yeah, I don't agree with that one. Do not agree with that one. So yeah, VAR controversy every week. I think that's been a problem for a few years though. Not just this season. You say this is the worst Premier League season. That's adding to it. That has been like that every single season. And it's not just VAR. I'm sick of the word VAR, the acronym VAR being used all the time. It's not VAR, it's referees. Let's get this straight. Referees have been crap for a long, long time. They've been crap for 30 years. The reason why VAR got brought in, because they were crap. Referees have been bad for a long, long time. And it is killing the game. It has been killing the game for a long time. That needs sorting out. Referees need sorting out. And that's one thing I agree with Matt on this video. Atmosphere, again, rotten. This is what he said. Atmospheres are rotten. Again, another thing I do agree with. Yeah, that is a lot of down to ownerships and greed and TVs and TV companies. That is pricing fans out of what the game is about anymore. I've spoken about this on many times on this channel, and it's companies, TV companies are wanting just more money. The changing times of kickoffs to times that don't suit fans. Did they, say Newcastle against Southampton, they'd happily put it on a Monday night if it makes money on TV. They don't think about the fans that are travelling. They don't think about the fans that are going to the games. The owners are the same. The owners don't care about the fans. They're more customers to fans. This is why I have a big problem with FSG, because their idea of an ownership to me is a franchise. It's an American franchise. It's people just spend money, go to the club, spend all the money in the shop, go to the game, spend money inside the stadium. That's all you want is merchandise, advertisement, money. And it's losing the real fans that are there for passion. Whether you're local or not, you're there for passion. You're there to watch the game. You're there to enjoy the game for what it is and enjoy the atmosphere. And that needs to be changed throughout football, I think, not just in Premier League. Premier League especially, but I think it needs to be changed throughout football. And I think it's happening in other big clubs around the world as well. So, yeah. I do agree with certain things Matt said here, but a lot of it I don't think. I think he is saying it right now because I think Arsenal out of the title race. I think if Arsenal was still in the title race, I think he might have waited for a video like this. Like I said, I do get some of his points on this. Like, I think the Premier League is sort of losing its touch, it's losing its feeling again because of greed from ownerships and greed from TV companies. But it's certainly not the worst Premier League season ever, and it's still certainly full of stories, full of drama, and the main one for me is the greatest English club in the country is back on its perch. That is the greatest story of it all. Liverpool Football Club will get 20 titles, joining Manchester United back on 20 titles, and finally sitting back on top of English football, where this club belongs. That is the greatest story of the season. And the Arne Slot story coming in after Jurgen Klopp. Everyone doubted him. Everyone thought we were going to be 5th, 6th, 7th. Me, as a Liverpool fan, I thought we were going to be 3rd. I thought 3rd was acceptable. Don't drop off from last season, but sort of catch up with Arne Slot's first season. Tried catching up. But what an incredible story that is for Arne Slot, and what an incredible story it is for the club. So yeah, a great Premier League season for me. I'm sure all Liverpool fans will think the same thing. And if they think other people think differently, then I don't think we care. But yeah, it's certainly not the worst Premier League season ever. And I think more stories to come as well, more drama to come, hopefully. Just not the title race. Thank you for watching. Make sure you do like this video, which will help us out massively for the channel. Just click like on the video at the bottom. Comment your comments. Do you think this is the worst Premier League season ever? Do you care? And what do you think of what Matt has said on his video? And what do you agree with and what you don't agree with, like myself? Thank you for watching. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel as well. Notification bells on. And enjoy your week, guys. Thank you, everyone.